Okay, so it's a little early. It's just after 3:30. But I woke up like an hour ago and I was just laying there just like a weight. And so then always if I wake up, Stella wakes up. It's so weird. Like it's connection. But I am seeing so much more of just how we're all connected. It's I don't know, it's trippy. Like like sometimes I wonder like this person who I'm being pulled towards, if like when I wake up, if they wake up, maybe when they wake up I wake up. I don't know. I know when I was a kid I used to be connected to them. Well, now looking back I can see I was connected to them because of just stuff that I have found out. I'll tell a lot more about stuff after it gets to that part. Like it's doesn't make any sense to talk about things that haven't happened yet, even though there's so much stuff that I know. Like it's like I'll know something is gonna happen. Like it can be all sorts of stuff, and then and like if I say it to somebody, then they're always just like, I don't know. I guess it's because they don't have the same thing inside of them. Because people think, it's so strange when I'm sitting there talking about like these other beings have told me or whatever. People think it's weird. And like I'm, imagining things or something. But anyways, and being able to look into, I don't know, look into the future and look into the past. Like you can look, it's like you can look ahead and behind. You can see like stuff. You can look and see like long, long, long time ago. What to me is you can't see like that. What I don't get shown is each little thing. Like it's more of like more broader. Like say, you're gonna go on vacation somewhere and then you get some like visions of stuff that's gonna be there or that will happen or something, but you don't get all the steps in between. So it's like you have these snapshots, and to me, it's kind of like you're going towards the snapshots because you trust the snapshots are real. And for me, I've been, at this way of living for such a long time that yeah, I trust the snapshots. It's weird because I know that is so strange to people, and that it would seem like I'm crazy. And another thing too, I was thinking about with the crazy thing, with because sometimes I'll think like, man, with their label world, which this whole thing with Generation Jones, that is where I kept saying we were just nothing. There was like the boomers, and then all of a sudden there was Gen X. And so apparently there was Gen Jones, and that is what we were called, which is still this keeping up with the Joneses. And I don't know. Like, to me, keeping up with the Joneses came like kind of in the 80s when everybody's two people are going to work, everybody's trying to get a good job, everybody's driving around fancy cars, everybody's getting all these fancy hairdos and stuff. And that's when everybody started having not one TV. They got one in a different room. And then it started being there's one in every kid's room, and everything started changing. And that to me is the 80s. So it's weird that they say Jen Jones was from 54 to 65. It's like, I don't know. To me, it should have been, generation party parents or something. I don't know, because it was like all of these parents, and it was in the movies and stuff, but get together, and I've said the positive stuff about it, but like these neighborhood get-togethers, and they'd all drink together, and I don't know, some of those parties, like I had heard over time, people talking, some of those parties became like key parties and swinger parties, and like there was a lot of stuff. Like there was still people having affairs and everything back then, but yeah, our moms were still at home. Our moms weren't out going to work. That was still a separate kind of time when what's her name, the woman lib movement thing, whatever her name was, who was their person that they used to drive that, because they always use like role models or idols to drive the direction. Oh, and I was just thinking, you know, because I've said for so long how they control our movements, and it has to do with, I just started noticing it when I was going and traveling around so much. I started being like, oh my God, they are controlling our movements. This isn't just like, oh, there's traffic or this or that. Because that used to always get me anyways. Because especially in Southern California, and I would be like, what in the hell? How does this all of a sudden happen? Or we'll have all this traffic like this? And it's one thing, you know, when you have, you know, a freeway flowing, and then you have where another one comes to go on together, and there starts being a clog up. But how extreme traffic gets, and then what, how I see what they do is like they have certain things that come out, and at certain times that start blocking it. And like you get a few cars going across next to each other, all going the same speed, a few big trucks. Like they do all this stuff. They put up things, I mean, just in summer, where they say, oh, they have to do the roads. Why, you know, they could be doing the roads even at night when there's not even people on them, which I know that they do that like on the freeway and stuff, and I'm sure they do it in other places. But anyways, the whole road thing is a big scheme bullshit anyways, because we are at the place in our technology that we don't need to be on the ground. We're going to be in flying cars, not cars that are driving. So it's just another part of them, you know, to control us with having to need licenses to monitor us so they can give us tickets and keep us wrapped up in court. And they make more law. Oh, you have to have a seatbelt. You have to have insurance. Yeah, all these things that they tell us that we have, what we have to do. And then they make laws and stuff and make us get in trouble. And we all keep just, you know, feeling shame about getting in trouble and not being good enough or something, and keep allowing this stuff where it's absurd. And it's where we all do have to come together and say, no, I don't give a shit. We don't all have to wear our seatbelt if we don't want to. We don't have to have insurance if we don't want to. It's none of your business. None of your business. And then plus you got these evil motherfuckers telling us what we have to do. And that's part of the awakening too, is seeing how immoral these people are. And you're sitting here stressing out trying to follow their rules, and they're just playing games and just making rules for you. So it's controlling our movements through cities and stuff, and then they really do a number on us too, where they just block something. And I've been on the road before. In Southern California it happened. But I swear there was another time too, but I keep seeing these videos and it reminds me of when it happened to me in Southern California, where we were sitting in traffic and we're just sitting there and sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. And finally everybody just like was turning their cars off, and then everybody was getting out of their cars. And then people are going and walking, trying to find what it is that's going on. I think it was like 4 hours or something. And there was whatever was blocking us, I don't know. Sometimes it'll be, oh, there's an accident. Oh, and all they can do, they can't shift people to exit beforehand. And they can't, there's nothing they can do but make us all turn off our cars and sit there for 4 hours without knowing anything. You can't have a cop go through the thing telling people what's happening or anything. You can't, I mean, it's all about this way to control us, to keep us late for things. Like I've seen so many videos because these things keep happening. I mean, yesterday it was one on the 110, and they're sitting there for a couple hours. People are getting out of their cars. They're having to turn their cars off because everybody's running out of gas. And think about when they're going to be doing this. This is just getting started. Because I've seen several videos of this same thing happening, and this is going to be going through extreme heat. There are going to be cars overheating, running out of gas. Like, this is the kind of stuff they want to keep us perpetually in this state of stress. And that is like in that movie, I think it's called Free Guy. It's just so accurate to the awakening. It's crazy. But so he's in a video game and he wakes up, and then there's different levels, different kinds of players, and there's the people who are in charge of it. And but that's their main thing, is that they just enjoy the show of us being under stress. Like, that's what they like, is for us to just be stressed out. It gives them joy. Plus, I don't know, it feeds these archons or whatever, feeds the dark energy. So it feeds this realm with stress, which creates more dark energy. So there's just gets more and more. See how it got so out of balance with the dark energy, why there had to be so much light to come in to bring light to the dark. The thing is, it's been so tricky is because they got people convinced that the dark isn't the dark. And so, I mean, there's people who live like the dark is the light. And that's why it's going to be so shocking when all this goes down, when everything shifts. And it's got to be so fucking close. Like, oh my gosh, it's got to be close. You'd think that it would be a lot more like of a surprise. Like, when it's going to happen, it's going to be a surprise. Like, whatever goes on. Like, and, you know, none of us know. Like, there's tons and tons of people who can feel things coming, and everybody's got dreams and prophecies, and their guides telling them this and that. To me, all I know is that it's going to be something dramatic. It's going to probably be a lot of different things, but there will be something dramatic that is going to flip everything. And then people are going to start seeing different. Like, I don't know so much, like, you know, because a lot of people, I don't know, they kind of look at it as like the whole earth is going to do some sort of like swallow itself, blow itself out or something like that. Kind of like a whale blowing out the stuff. But you got to think of it like on an energetic level. And because you got to, at some points, when things seem overwhelming, like in the physical, is to remember that the physical is made up. So it's the physical is so that we can experience what certain things would be like, feel like. And also, this has been heavy on my mind too, is because there's so many people who are so angry at certain people and just think, oh, these people are horrible, I hate them. And I was thinking, it's so wild, because I think in soul world, where we are, you know, where we all hang out together in a different kind of way, that you could not imagine, like, if you were in a conversation with this soul, like, it could be your parent, it could be a spouse, it could be anybody who gets close enough to you to hurt you, that when you are in your soul body, it'd be more like you discussing it and being like, oh, there's no way I would ever hate you. I love you so much. There's no possible way that you could ever do anything to me that would hurt me. But then you come into the game and you forget everything. It's like it becomes very much just what you see and hear. You don't remember everything else. There's some of us, though, that knew that there was something more and searched for it. You know, I can't sit there and say, oh, they came of it on my own. No, I had, ever since I was little, I've had these people talking to me and telling me stuff. So that is, you know, I always knew there was more, because I was talking to people outside of here, and I knew it, and they were telling me things And they were like, I knew like from the time I was little, I knew we were like a science experiment. That was made clear to me. I knew that we were learning, that we were being watched. There was a lot of stuff that I knew ever since I was a kid. And I knew religion was not real. I knew, there's just a lot of stuff. And so, there was certain ways they couldn't trap me. Like they couldn't trap my mind on some things. And so, there's a lot of people who did get mind trapped, but that was the way, because it was supposed to go that way. It's what they're here to learn, to break free from, to help the universe understand how things work. Like, another thing that was kind of shown to me was, oh yeah, because it's kind of like shocking how you can love so much in the spiritual world and be so close to somebody or different souls or whatever, and then you're able to come into this realm and feel the opposite feeling towards them. That is also very very, like, not just like intriguing, but it's something that the universe looks at. Like it's something that they pay attention to, that they watch. Like there's transformations that happen, and like this transmuting of energy, and even when something goes one way, you can take it. See, that's what we're doing as souls right now, is going full circle. Like that's why so many things are playing out in certain ways, is because you're completing certain cycles. Like it's kind of like how I was saying, like patterns and diagrams, and how like your life is like a pattern, and then all your lives together make up another pattern, like snowflakes or something. And then you right now are like completing the pattern. If you were to not, and no matter, you can't do it wrong. That's the thing. It's like, don't stress out about it, because you can't do it wrong, because you are on like a ride. Like you're always going to do what you're going to do when you're going to do it, even if you think you've got all this control. That is like, it's trippy. So the but it's, you're always going to learn the way you're going to learn. And to me, it is just something to this, having more awareness in life, more spiritual awareness, more of the awareness of like, what am I doing here? And to know that there's a reason. Like they try to take that away from people. They try to make people convinced that it's just like some kind of weird freak thing, like that all of creation was created. And like the animals and stuff, which the ocean animals, are water animals, seem to really be going kind of kooky. And there's also things coming up out of the water where they're saying maybe there's from underground volcanoes or something, but there's going to be changes in land mass and stuff. So it says there's going to be shifts like that. There's going to be things going underwater. And right now we have things going slowly, like warning, 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 to get people to wake up. Like one storm after another, one thing after another, these extreme temperatures. And that is to get like warning shots to get people to pay attention. And the people who wake up and pay attention see that so that they can save themselves. The people who don't, it is because that they're not meant to. They're playing a role for some other purpose. So, but that doesn't mean that they're not awake when they come out of here. We're all way more awake. This is like connecting to your awakeness in life. It's like, so you're not just in the game, with your eyes covered and just going on autopilot. You're coming to your senses, and you are paying attention, being more deliberate in your actions. And so that is like the evolution, because the two like distinct approaches, which we can witness, we can observe, that we can understand that, you know, the point of being more aware and being more deliberate in your actions and being more mindful and understanding of how you affect others, because that's a universal law, cause and effect. What goes up must come down. What goes around comes around. Like, that is the way. That's not just something somebody made up. That's just like how energy works. It's and how it is always looking for balance. Here's one thing too, that is, so many people, like people, like somebody could be healthy and go into a party, say, and so then there's a bunch of people who aren't so healthy, and they've kind of more of just went into the, you know, living and having a good time as they're aging and not worrying about things, and just want to have a good time. And so a lot more drinking, a lot more of an indulgent lifestyle. And so not in very good shape, just, you know, I mean, there's a difference in somebody who lives a tighter, you know, lifestyle, where you still have to find balance in there, because some people get themselves wound way too tight and become obsessive. That's a disorder as well. If you are way wound too tight and everything's got to be just so, and you got to be on the rules and the time and law, that is where you have to find balance of giving yourself some free time. Like, you know, relax a little bit. But everybody's got their own balance to find. Oh my gosh, hold on. But everybody has to find their own balance. So you have to figure out if you're too uptight, you're too lenient, whatever it is, you have to decide for yourself. And you have things coming to you to show you. But so somebody who's healthy could go into this party, and all these people, you know, are drinking a lot and eating dips, eating a lot of, you know, burgers or beef or whatever. And the other person, maybe, you know, they're drinking infused water and eating the salads and eating some dips or something. But, you know, there's a difference. And it isn't like this person's trying to show off or something. They're just trying to live their own way of how tightly they want to keep themselves wound, you know. And that does have a part of like guilt. Guilt does kind of hold you in a certain place. Like I would have a big problem trying to eat a whole package of cookies. And there's people who do it all the time. So, but that is where, you know, like I'd have guilt. Like, once I got to the end of one row, I would be like, oh my God, you're out of control. What are you doing? So, but everybody's got their own thing. And I'm not saying everybody's got to, you know, live like me or something. But we all just kind of have to just be understanding of everybody else. Like, and there's nothing wrong with the person who has, you know, a guilt factor when they're going too much in a direction. That's like alarm system inside of you. And some people are cut off from that alarm system somehow, I think. And so, and we have a very indulgent society right now, very ego driven. You know, this whole thing with narcissism, and but it's all out of balance. That's the thing. It's just all out of balance. People are out of balance. But so this person going into this party can make the other people start to question themselves and feel bad about themselves, and then make them think that this other person has got an issue because that person is bringing this up in them. But see, it's the thing inside you that's coming up because it wants to come out. But you keep thinking, well, this other person's making me feel bad. This other person's doing this. And, you know, they're just too uptight. They're too this, they're too that. instead of listening to what's happening inside of you. Because as soon as you start having a reaction to somebody else, there's something inside of you that's trying to communicate. It's your own guilt. It's your own, like, I want to look good. Why am I keep going and eating all these cookies and stuff when I want to look good? And so that is where you got to find the answers inside of yourself. And like I've said, so many people, food has been used as like a curtain, a crutch, has been so abused, and they just keep it going up and down, up and down, up and down. Like that's like controlling our movement too. Controlling your movement, controlling your bowel movement. So they are in control of everything about us if we let them. But anyways, I was just like, it's trippy how when people aren't doing well for themselves, how they'll be triggered by somebody doing better, but they'll go the opposite. Instead of feeling like they want to try and do better too, they will get more mad, because that is like this group think of, let's all go down together. Like, why do you have to care? So then you make me feel like I'm doing something wrong because I don't care. It's like, yeah, but maybe your soul, when I came in the room, all of a sudden got triggered and was like, hey, I want to do that too. I can take care of myself. And you are fighting yourself. You're not fighting this person. You're fighting yourself, but you think it's this person. And so it becomes like where you have to communicate with yourself and recognize the link between pain and suffering and trauma and the need to protect yourself by comforting yourself with food, and why they even have comfort food, why girls get sad and automatically, oh, I'm bringing the ice cream. And it's like this certain way of how we recharge ourselves, and it's been self-defeating. It's gotten people sick and overweight. There's so many people who have like diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, and all this stuff, and but they don't really have it. It's just that they've let themselves go. So then their body is showing them, well, we got issues here, we got issues here. And the more you ignore them, the more that things will fall apart. But the more you say, oh, you've got issues. Okay, let's talk about your issues. What can we do? Well, a lot of the things, if you go to the doctor and you're going to try and, get your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your heart, all that stuff, if you want to get it better, they're going to tell you to lose weight, exercise, eat right. And but people have been confused over what eat right means. And man, and I'm telling you, in the mirror this morning, like, this is so much darker. Like, there is no way this is going to show by the end of summer. Like, I keep thinking that, man, this is going so much faster. I even start taking 2 of the magnesiums, because well, for one thing, I think that I've got magnesium deficiency. And even with the pain that I was having, I'll take extra magnesium. So if I get a headache, I'll go take extra magnesium. With the aches and pains, I'll go take extra magnesium. And then also, there's a whole thing of, see, I still gotta take these big breaths. There's a whole thing, because I see these people, like I just saw somebody yesterday saying, about controlling pain, that you can ignore it, let it go, or whatever. And, and that's a part of like our skills or our senses or stuff like that. It has an aspect to our learning. But there's another part to it too, is that pain is there to communicate. It's there to show you, to pull you in so you will see something and understand something. So I think that's why we haven't mastered this, like, oh, I can make my pain go away. Because it is, especially right now, it is there to try and communicate with you. And your body will communicate through pain, and so you acknowledging it, then that helps you to heal it. so that the pain goes away, because you have healed the thing that's inside of you that is bothered. And that is where you got to think too, that things are, the way the communication goes is differently. Like I was saying, somebody with back pain, it can be so many different things. It could be an injury from a past life. It could be a very tragic or dramatic kind of injury from a past life. And so you have things to heal from that incident. And since you can't remember, things will come up in this life in order to process through there. But so it can be some type of injury. It can be, like I said, in this life where you let people walk all over you. You bend over backwards for people. And so you go against your own boundaries. Because when you're trying to people please and make everybody else happy and doing things that you don't really want to do, there's a reason you're doing that. And you have to look at that. Like, why are you trying to please people? Why are you trying to make someone happy? Why are you doing things that you don't want to do to make somebody happy? And then that goes with boundaries and goes with vulnerability, to see how everything, and it's basically always these same things: shame, guilt, boundaries, vulnerability, biases. It's like these same kind of things in all these different ways coming up. So it's like you can kind of latch on to what you're looking for. You can be like, okay, well, I must be, because even I was thinking about this on biases, is that if you think you don't have any biases, then think like, if you went for a job interview, is there anybody that could go to that job interview and you would think, oh, I'd get it over them, no problem? Like, is it somebody of a different color, a different race, a different ethnicity? Maybe those are all three kind of the same things, but or a different gender, a different size, a different age. Like, if you think, like, oh, well, I would get this over these other people, then you probably look at those, if they don't seem like any kind of a threat to you or any kind of competition, you probably have some kind of biases and you think they're less than you. You look down on them. So that's a good place to be able to figure out where your biases are, because everybody's got them. You just got to find yours. Why you think you're better than somebody else, so that you can release that. And it's for your own release. It's not for somebody else's benefit. It's for your own. But to be able to see your biases, and it's like bringing things into level. It's like when we all are living in biases and we're all thinking we're better than this person, and that it creates so much chaos to our structure. It is like we're living in a storm. It's like the ocean is like all crazy and going in different waves. And it's like we want to pull it into this level where everything is just calm and peaceful. But we do that through us releasing everything that creates the storm. And we all have we're all a factor in the storm. And that's why we have to recognize our own nature of how we are a part of the universe. And so that what you bring to the table is important. You do matter. And so you have to see, like, the things you do make a difference, and you can take them in either direction. Like, lots of people, go towards the dark. But like I've said, a lot of people go towards the dark and have no idea that they're in the dark. And so there's going to be just so much is going to be seen about that. And who was that yesterday? There was somebody, I don't know if it was on the Joe Rogan show or something, but somebody was saying about some arrest or something, some bad people or whatever, something. But anyways, they start going through. It's going to be doctors, it's going to be neighbors, it's going to be, like, that's what I've been saying. There's going to be, people are going to be going down that people are not going to be expecting. And I don't know what they're all going to, because that is, those are the serious stuff. Like what Elon was talking about with the fraud, is that charge that starts with crimes and ends with that other word that's called humanity. Then that, another one that we're going to see a lot of, it starts with an R and then it has an ICO. And so those are a couple of charges. We're going to hear those charges a lot. And then I think there will be people, like regular people, like doctors, lawyers, that will be called in for those charges. Some people are going to have a scare for sure. There is going to be, it's weird because you can, like, I can see so many different things like playing out, but it's always for people to learn and to grow. So all these things are going to be playing out, but there's going to be some scares for some people for sure. And oh yeah, there's more going on with Joe. God, it was kind of funny on this one thing. I think it was still at the vets thing. It must have been something on this Normandy thing, because it's with this French president and the vets. It must be French veterans that are sitting there. And but Joe turns around. So he's already like crapped his pants or farted or whatever is going on with that whole situation where they've got him constantly, where he's got stomach issues. He doesn't know he's in public or something. But then now he turned. I don't know if they started to play a song or something. So he turned and he looked. But it's like, he's like kind of like reminded me of Winston. Because Winston, once it started coming towards the end, sometimes he would just go sit in front of the wall and just sit and stare at the wall. I was like, oh my gosh, is this, he's getting senile or something? Like, what's he looking at? Like, what's he doing? It's kind of like Joe's doing that. So he turns and he's just looking at this other wrong direction on the stage. So all the other people, like the president, the French guy and his wife, and Joe's wife, all turned to look the other way. And then I guess after they see like there's nothing going on here, they finally turn, break free. But what was another thing? There was another thing that Joe did that because people are super outraged because he got off the plane and he didn't salute the military. And which on some of the things he hadn't even had real military. Like when you get some people on military things, they'll go in and break down, like, and they'll be like, that's not real. And so I don't even know, but it's all the show to show, what a idiot this guy is. They're showing this horrible thing, what an idiot he is because he's such a criminal. He's so bad. It's like, we're going to make sure that you look like a total twat. So, and he does. Like, people are so outraged by everything he does. But he walks past he stops, even talks something, says something to this soldier guy, but doesn't salute him. And so, but he's not the commander-in-chief either. And there's more, I think, being shown about that with Donald. Like even on the thing when he came on TikTok, it said, they made a whole thing about your president is on TikTok now. So that is, it's like words to go in. You can either let them go in or you can block them. And if you block them, it's because, you're not, you need to still, any of the things that are said, like when you get to a certain point, you start looking back, you'll start being like, oh my God, I heard that before. Oh my God, I saw that and I didn't think anything. You'll see how there was signs the whole way leading up to things. And it's not so you'll be mad or be sad or something, but I think it's so you can recognize you've had communication the whole time. You always have communication. You're never alone. You always have guides and people with you. Even when you feel alone, like you can talk to them. I talk to them all the time. But that's like where you would get this diagnosis of schizophrenia. The thing I was thinking about with that though, is that I think that those people are like accessing a certain realm. uh, it's not like they're just accessing all the realm. It's like, because they're still accessing something that has a lot of dark. When you talk to people who have schizophrenia, everything is so much about religion. And there's always the devils trying to get them. There's always this battle between God and the devil, and it's all happening, and they're watching all this stuff. And I mean, they go through some stuff. I mean, all that stuff is real. Like, there's real realms and realities and stuff, and they're accessing it. But and it would be much different if somebody, told them. I've tried telling, but it's so programmed of diagnoses. You try and tell people, like, oh, it's real, though. It is real. But, like, even when I was a psych nurse, like, some of them would be talking about that stuff. You couldn't get them to understand what I was saying. And then a lot of them are on meds and stuff to try and, I don't know, maybe it traps them in there more. But anyways, all these realms and stuff are real. It's like whatever is in the water. There's something real. Like, there's realms and stuff. So what to us seems like water, it could be like a fucking space station, really. Again, the Great Lakes, I don't remember which one, a big giant ship hit into something. And they're like, we don't know what it is. So I can be a part of, like, awakening in that area. Maybe it's going to be, could be anything. Like, it could be anything. And everything, though, it just is about us waking up. Everything is about us, like, coming to our senses. And it's so weird, some of these words. And and then at the same time, though, like, I've seen a whole bunch of videos, like by South Carolina and by Florida, the sharks and the whales and the gators are all being weird. Like, gators are going down and getting in the ocean. Usually, you have to be, like, certain. You have to be a saltwater crocodile to be able to go in it. I'm not really sure, because I've heard, like, in Mexico, I've seen saltwater crocodiles. And, but, what's another thing? These people fucking going swimming in this shit. And it's time of year where all these vacationers are going. And there's been a whole bunch of shark attacks. There's like hundreds or thousands. There's a shit ton of sharks that have come in. And they were like, what the hell is going on? And then I keep seeing videos of people out swimming on the beach, and then people running down, get out, get out. And there's a shark coming. There's videos from people on the pier getting these big ass sharks. There's videos of all these little sharks. Like, there's so much. And a orca coming up to the shore. And I almost, like, they're all trying to get out of the water or something. Something has set them off, if it's the frequency. And but see, not everything is on this physical level, like what we assume or how we perceive. And that's what I'm saying, like, the pole shift is even going to be different. Like, if people perceive, it is going to be an energetic thing. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of big changes, because it's micro, macro, and everything is going to change. So there's going to be a lot of changes. Our landscape is already in the process of changing. So those things are going to happen. And, you can just, hang your hat on that. But that doesn't mean, like, we're going to flip inside out or something. That is more, I don't know, of a metaphor to me. Like, what is hidden is going to be seen. And it does have to do with this light thing. And I do understand this concept of certain people bringing the light, and how there's the dark and the people are consumed by the dark, and how during this lifetime there already was the light coming in, but the light was being extinguished by the dark. because the dark was pushing back so hard on the light. But energetically now it's coming. It is like, when this happens, especially, like, people are going to all of a sudden look around to certain people and be like, oh my God, now I understand what you were talking about. Like, they couldn't understand, they couldn't hear, they couldn't understand what certain people were saying because it was like a foreign language, because they were looking at things through the lens of, through the light, and everybody else was looking at it through the dark. And so the ones over here in the light didn't make any sense. They seemed kooky, like, that's just weird. Why would you even think that? Why would you even look at that? That's just weird. So there was so much where the people rejected the light for so long. And now it's like the light was there. The universe is going to turn the lights on, because it's like all the lights were there, but the people just stayed in the dark because, like I said, like this person of the light going to this party, and how it makes the other people feel worse about themselves. And so they get more consumed about feeling bad about themselves. And then they naturally gravitate to the other people who also want to, who want to keep going in that direction. And then they can even turn toxic and drag this other person down, because they feel the challenge from this person, even if this person's not challenging them, their internal is challenging them. But then they gravitate together, and then they reject and point fingers, and so they all come to the same conclusion: that person's the problem, we've got the solution, we've got the answers, we're going with the thing. And another thing too, because I saw somebody talking about, they're always talking about following the trends, follow the trends, and how you can stay on this one and stay on that one. And I was thinking, some of us are trend followers, and the other ones are trend setters. So I would say be a trend setter. Don't be a trend follower. A trend setter is walking to your own beat on your own path. Then you are setting a trend. And following someone else's path, and you're a follower. So I say be your own. But anyways, that is how it kind of goes down, is like some light comes in and everybody rejects it and pushes back and blames the outcast as being the oddball out. So why do we want to be around them? All they do is make us feel bad about ourselves. And so, and we're going to get in a group and all feel bad about ourselves and all be on the same page. It's the same vibration. So see how the vibration gets pulled down, because this other thing pushes them out of their comfort zone, and it makes them question themselves, and they don't like that. And that has been such a part of our existence for a long time, because we were never just left in the dark. There was always light around. It's just that the light was, it was like few and far between, and it is, everything is meant to play exactly the way it's playing. So it wasn't meant to go the other way. It's meant to go this way, so that when people wake up, that they see these sides of themselves. They see the sides of themselves that they kept trying to hide. They kept ignoring. And how much your body is communicating to you, to tell you. And that is what, each person has to figure out. Like, if you've got a lot of problems, like, say, with your kidneys, it could be something about filtering. It could be something with you with filtering. It could be something with you with needing to drink more water. It could be something like you need to eat more greens. It could be something with some kind of mineral deficiency. Like, there's all different levels. That's why I said we're all playing different levels in this game, and it's all different levels. But you can find out more easily when you communicate with your guidance and you talk to them and ask them and stuff, even if you feel crazy. And don't forget, they're not going to give you every little detail. They'll give you things where it's like these epiphanies, like where you're like, oh, okay, I see. And you'll have a deeper understanding. But it's just like breadcrumbs. It's just like being lost in the forest and they drop the crumbs to get you back on the path. But you are the one who has to figure your path out, because that's what your challenge is about, is being able to find your path and follow it. Which to me, a lot of it is following through snapshots and stuff, like things that they show me, and or that I can look at. It's not just shown. It's not just like they throw something in my brain. I can tune in and be like, oh, I want to look at this. I want to look at that. And sometimes it show me this, show me that. Sometimes like when there's like a pain or something, be like, show me what it is I need to see. What is this associated with? And, what am I missing? It just is like an opening myself up to communication. But that doesn't mean that you're going to get something right that second. So don't get disappointed. Don't get disappointed if any of these things, like if you're trying to communicate and it's difficult or whatever, don't think like, well, it's not going to work for me. No, just keep going at any of the stuff. Just keep working towards your goals. You want better communication. You want more peace of mind. You want to feel more relaxed. You want to feel more direct in how you approach life. Just keep going in that thing, and then be open to the different kinds of communication, because it's going to come different than what you think. It can come very different than what you're expecting. So if you get very much stuck on, well, it's going to be this or it's going to be that, then you could be missing what it is that it is. So you just got to be open. It could be somebody you pass by in a store, does something. It could be the craziest kind of thing. Like you're thinking about a certain thing, right as this person says something, and they open the door for you, they catch your attention, they say something, and it's something being said in your head at the same time, and it goes together, and then right there you're just like, oh, and you just all of a sudden get it. So there is way more to it than just, like I said, it's not just like you're sitting there having a conversation. Sometimes you do. Sometimes like there's a conversation, but it's still not like a conversation, probably like what you expect a conversation to be. And I don't know if I had talked about this on here. I might have done a TikTok about it, but it was something about words and language. Oh, it was because I was sitting outside when I was doing the dog sitting, which that was pretty fun. I wish it would be more sunny here too. I really do. I just enjoy just laying out in the lounge chair. But so I was laying out there and I was listening to the birds, and the birds were just singing up a storm. And which right now there's no spiders, which is really strange. And it's still these weird fucking flies. And but there's a bunch of birds and squirrels. So the squirrels are just scurrying around and playing and jumping. They're so cute. But so the birds were out there singing and singing and singing. And it made me think about this video I had seen. So in this video, they take all these different sounds, whale sounds, crickets, birds, all these different things, and they change the frequency. And when you change the frequency, it sounds way different. Way different. Like if we change the frequency, listening to dogs bark, like we'd start being able to pick up more on, oh, man, they're like saying words, kind of like there's a communication going on. Like there's things that we don't pick up on because of the frequency, and then we think that it's nothing. We don't see it, we don't hear it. But anyways, that there's more to the frequency of sound, and where you can tune in and hear things different than how you hear them. And so I was thinking about that with sounds and stuff. And I was thinking, when you hear people speaking in their own language, they're always talking so fast, and it is like a different vibration. It's like a higher vibration, and they're talking fast, and there's just like this. It's so wild, because like, if being somebody, like, if you can't understand, and it can be all different languages, like not just like one kind. No, I've heard lots of different people speak lots of different languages, and it's always super fast. And while you're sitting there listening, you might be able to pick up on like a few different things, but it just sounds like all this, you know, it just sounds like so much gibberish. And they're having total communication, total, and you know, they kind of took that away from us, you know, in America especially. And they even are trying to take it away from people who speak their own language, and then they try and blame it on us, like we're the ones. Like, we want to say happy holidays, we want to have everybody speak the same language. So like, fuck off, quit blaming your shit on us. And so they are the ones who directed us into this slow, low vibration language, which is so confusing when you start thinking about like how many words that have the same, it's like the same word means different things, or the same sounding word can be spelled different ways and mean different things. Like, it's so bullshit. And you know, sometimes you see people, like, you see it all the time in texts and not text comments, people using the wrong word. I'm sure I do it too, and use the wrong word in the place because they spell it one way, that it's the word, but spelled the other way is how you got to use it. It's ridiculous. And you know, there's so many people, like, I think there's linguists and stuff coming out and saying like there's spell binding and stuff with these words, how they use the words, and it is this control of man. Like, man, when you get into hearing some of the stuff about the words and how they're used and the derivative, like all that stuff, it is like wacky. That was very much like in the big picture of thing, like how they came up with, oh, we're spinning out in space and we're doing this, we're doing that, like, and you know, we all need to have this, well, like, that's how insidious it is, like their whole language that they tried to trap us in. And it's very self-deprecating, or something. It beats us down by using their language, and it's very low vibration. And then you even think about how it's like slowed down. And especially like even the other day when I was talking about like being in different places, and how up here everything is like really slowed down and very defined, kind of like how they speak. Like, there's no curling words or any of that stuff. Like, you go to some other places, you know, and there's a lot of like word curling and all these like changing words, dropping parts off, syllables merging and stuff like that. But over here it's very drawn out, and over here it's very liberal, but it's very controlled. Like, it's like the people, it's like, these are the rules. It's like what it's like. These are the rules. We all got to live by the rules. That's why we need so many people to start being able to break free from the rules. Like, whose rules are we living by? Why do we need to live by somebody else's rules? Why can't we live by our own rules? Aren't we all able to make our own rules? Don't we all know, like, when to eat, when to go to sleep, when to clean our teeth, when to clean our hair, when to clean our bodies? Don't we just know that stuff? Like, do we need somebody else to tell us? And there's still so much going on right now, like this breaking free from the artificial, which so many people aren't breaking free yet. They're totally just going all in on the artificial. Like, you have people who think they're so awake who just keep pushing chemical products, and, you know, especially like anti-aging, you know, go get all these chemicals put into your face, and all these creams and stuff like that, that are really bad for you. Even the other day I went to go get water, and so I was hearing the radio, and these DJs in Canada, it was really pissing me off because they were having this big talk about skin sunblock, and it's summer, and everybody's got to get that stuff on. You got to get that stuff on. Don't be stupid. Don't be crazy. It's like, that is so. And then it's like, okay, well, I'll just figure that they probably don't realize that they're telling people to go put this stuff on that's going to give them cancer, and that they were just following the science, not thinking about it, not questioning it, not going looking up studies or any of that stuff. They're just doing what they're told, following a script. And so, so all the people who listen and go do it, but see how there's like a repercussions from, your ignorance, driving ignorance and creating a wake of ignorance. So there is a cause and effect. I'm telling you. There's people who are out there misdirecting people that, to me, it's like you're just adding on bad karma to yourself, like you're putting things out of balance. But everything has its way of being. Like, that's the way it's supposed to be. And we can't question too much stuff because it's really none of your business. It's none of your business what every other soul's business is. We got to get a lot more into this mindset of just observation. We're just here observing, like the watchers. They don't get themselves all invested into what we're having go down. They don't feel like they need to rescue us. They don't feel like, they can watch us suffer and cry, and then they watch us get ourselves out of it and bring ourselves up. That's the part. And so they can't mess that up because we got to do it ourselves. And so, but we got to get that way of each other, of being able to live amongst each other and not feel like we have to fix everything. I was even thinking, like me and my girls, like I've not been apart from my kids like this for like, it's wild. But I was thinking that I know there's a reason for everything and why things happen and stuff like that. So I was thinking about this morning, and I was thinking, I bet you there is something to it about them, my girls, the older ones that have the new babies and stuff, that them having this this sense of independence in themselves too, not having their mom around. I know they're dealing with other things too, because like one of them, the other grandma's there all the time. And so that has got its own challenges. You've got your own new set of boundaries and stuff that you've got to create for yourself when you have somebody else that's there all the time. And, my kids with me, like, they'd have no problem telling me, shut up, mom, get out of here. But when it comes to other people, then that's going to be a lot more challenging. And I was thinking, there probably is such a sense of independence for different people, because we all have like codependencies with each other, and when the universe is keeping us more in separation from each other, I think it's so that we can find our own independence. So I'm sure for my kids, even though it's like they all feel sad because I am so far away and not there all the time, because this is like such a, even though it's been years, like now they're all just kind of fed up, like, come on, what are you doing over there by yourself? But I was thinking there's got to be like the universe, the universal growth, and it has to do with this, them being able to find this side of themselves, and me to find this side of myself without this codependency, because it gets too comfortable in trying to control other people. But I was thinking, I bet you it really is really good for the girls to not have me right there all the time, because of what was it? I could see it really clearly this morning, but kind of like what I'm talking about, like um, doing things without having your mom around. Like, your mom's not around, because there's a lot of things like, there's lots of things. Like, even one of the things why I said wanting to leave from Spokane, it was like I was just becoming like a babysitter, but my kids didn't really have time for me. But here, could you watch the kids? And so it was like, this is not what I want for my future. It's just be a babysitter, but my kids don't even have time to hang out and talk. It's like run into work and here watch kids and stuff. So, but then they have not having that me available, then that makes them have to find other resources and stuff. So it expands because things aren't simple. So there is a lot of things that are happening in lives where we had like a simplistic kind of easy fallback thing, but now the universe is pushing us to be more direct, and everything leads to being more about being able to set your boundaries and being able to be vulnerable, show yourself and be yourself, but also be able to draw the line of protection around yourself and know what you need, and know what you need and go at it in a more positive influence, rather than, you'll do whatever it takes. And you got to have a sense of that you'll do whatever it takes, because that's a survival sense. Like, like if we didn't have that in us, like I'll do whatever it takes, then we wouldn't have survived this long. So when that's coming up in people, and you see it and you're like, oh my God, these people just do whatever, those are things that those souls have to balance out. Like, as the observer, we can sit there and judge it, and well, they should have done it this way, they should have done it that way, but they've got their own sense of how things are supposed to go, because it's in their soul diagram, it's in their soul pattern, it's in their story. So that's what we have to quit thinking that we need to tell people, which I was thinking that's got to be like a kind of a relief too to my kids, because I was thinking, if you're always telling them, do this, do that, do this, do that, then that would make them start feeling like they don't know, no, it's like your mom thinks you don't know what to do. Because this is something that my daughter has pointed out to me too. So like, you're constantly telling them, well, you got to do this here, do it this way, do it that way, like a mom thing. And because you're doing that from the time they're little, that's a hard thing to stop doing. But when you keep doing it, they start feeling like you look at them like they don't know how to do things for themselves. Like, I'm an adult mom, I'm a grown-up, I've had my own experiences, I understand, I know how to do things. And so being like an overbearing kind of mom can make them feel like you look at them like they are not capable. And so they're kind of trying to be recognized as being capable. So it's a lot more effective to be able to look at your kids and recognize their growth and what they're doing, rather than them to try and live the way it makes you feel comfortable and how you think things should go. And then as the person who can see things and see how things are going to play out and stuff, then, is where we have to learn how to just watch and let things play out the way they're going to play out. And sometimes you're meant to tell people, but you'll know by if it's received. If it's received, you're meant to tell them. Or sometimes it's just planting a seed and it will be received later. But when you get a pushback, then, don't push. I don't think, like, if you see something and you understand what's going to happen and you say, oh, I think blah, blah, blah is going to happen. And then people are just like, well, depends on how they react. If they say, thanks, I didn't even think of that, that's one thing. If they're like, you don't know what you're talking about, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to see how it works out. Just because you think that, it's just because you're negative. And so I'm going to go see how it works out. And then if it works out how you saw, it's not appropriate for you to start going, I told you. See, you wouldn't be in this mess. If you would have just listened to me, you wouldn't even have this happening. You don't. That is not your place. It is, you already planted the seed. They've already got that going in their mind. You don't need to add in your voice into their fucking, what they've already got going on. That's why we've got to learn to shut our mouths sometimes, to keep quiet, to let people's own communication work itself out. It's not for us to tell people how to live, what to do, how to do it, where to get there, how anything. That's when we've got issues. And when you feel like you've got to control everybody else's, then you have got there's problems with fear, control, and you got to go in deeper and see like where is this coming from? Why would I feel like I've got to control everybody else? Why can't I just sit back and relax? Why can't I just sit back and shut my eyes and just go with the flow? Why do I got to be on high alert and telling everybody, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Don't do it that way, do it this way. Why can't we just relax and be like, oh, the universe has got its thing going. We're watching, this person's learning this person's learning that. This is playing out over there. Because that's what's happening. There's lots of stuff playing out. Which, you know, which was kind of strange. I thought this was kind of strange. Is yesterday I actually watched a movie. Because I've been busy with the dog sitting thing. But I had watched this movie. It turned on. It was a Lifetime movie, and this woman had a baby in the hospital. They switched the babies at birth. She didn't know, whatever, when they took the baby to the nursery. So she didn't know. And they brought this baby back to her. And so she took care of this baby, took it home and everything. And so it started growing up and it was looking more like a black person. And the husband started saying, I don't know, they were young when they got together anyways. And he started cheating on her and stuff. But he said, that's not my baby. You've lied to me this whole time. I'm going to get a DNA test. So they were going to get divorced. And so they did this DNA test. And this is an old movie. So if you're aligning this with what's really happening in the world, yeah, that's what's trippy about it. This is an old movie. And this is really happening. And so there's in this story, the couple gets this DNA test, and they do it like 4 or 5 times. They're like, this is so weird. And then they finally figure out, oh, this person's baby was switched at birth. And so the woman who's raised this child, he's 8 years old now, and she was like, I don't care. I love this kid. And this kid, there's like a lot of sad things, because it's like this kid doesn't even know anything. Once people find out he's black, they start, there's some mean stuff. Like it's weird. And that just shows, like, you know, what humans can be like. But so she wants to keep her kid, and so there's just like this moral dilemma happening, because she wants her kid, but she wants to keep this kid. So she starts going, and she gets a lawyer and starts trying to figure stuff out. Well, the other people had given their kid up for adoption. So the couple that was the half black, it was a black man and a white woman, had a baby in the hospital. And then they gave their kid up for adoption. So they didn't want that kid. So the kid she has now, it was an unwanted kid anyways. So she starts going through with her adoption and looking for her kid. And her kid was adopted. And so it starts being this battle of her wanting her kid. And the people who adopted it were like these older, religious, kind of rich kind of people. But the pressure they put on this kid, and the mom would lose her mind all the time, because sometimes people who are super controlling become super violent and angry. And so this mom was violent and angry towards this kid. So this woman was, there's no fucking way I'm leaving my kid with this crazy lady. And so it was all this battle. in the court thing. How it ended, it was still going to the Supreme Court. So, but the woman was getting to have her son with her through all those different court things. But she was like, every court kept going back. Like, because the court's over us. Like, the whole thing is such fucking bullshit. And, but right now, currently in our society, we had that happening where a man was getting divorced from the wife and said, I don't think that's my kid. He went in and got DNA test and said it's not his kid. And the woman's like, there's no fucking way that is your kid. So she got a DNA test, showed it's not her kid. And so then this whole thing is playing out of this switched up birth thing in the hospital. I was like, that is so weird how much this movie is like matching. I don't know that whole story. Like, I haven't kept up on the whole thing. There's so many stories going, so much fucking drama. Oh my God. Like, if you don't have drama in your neighborhood going on, like, I don't even know. So much drama happening everywhere. There's like, just tons of stuff. So, and that's going to keep on picking up. And it's for all the people involved. It's for your own learning and your own benefit. And when things start signaling to you, you know, like, fuck, I got to find a safer place and stuff, which I think we're all kind of getting those signals and those triggers. Like, you know, we want safe place to live. We want a place where we can grow and, you know, and feel safe and have the things we need and be protected and stuff. So we're all like leaning into that energy where it's going to start shifting, you know. Like, I really think that whatever is going to go down, Joe's going down, obviously. And it could be anything. I mean, today he could go up and talk on a stage, fall off, conk his head, and they say he's dead. But right now they've got so much stuff coming up about his crimes, his money stuff. So all that is just going to keep going. And so, and any of this stuff can play out. Who knows? They're going to take him off in handcuffs or take him off on a stretcher. And it's like, we just got to wait and see what's going on. And, because it's all a show. So at some point, they're going to have to let on the people who don't know it's a show that it's a show, I would think. But, you know, we'll see. Like, there is a lot of drama that keeps getting picked up and going. But so we still have, like, you know, I think they keep trying to interject more with the sickness. I think there's so many people who are on to that. You know, you keep telling us we're sick, but we're breathing in fucking chemicals all day and eating them too. So, drinking them too. So, that's probably, you know, what we have. And, so we still have that. The money thing is on the verge. The power is changing. And so everything is right on the verge of collapse. And it's going to keep going. Corporations are going to go down, like Walmarts will close, all these kinds of things. And another thing too that keeps being on my YouTube, we'll see again like today what it does, but some of these videos are going on so fast, I can't even believe it. Or it's like there's some kind of shift. There's something like happening. It's weird. I can put it on and then I can start doing something. It's like 10 or 15 minutes. It's already on there. It's like, dang, that was fast. So anyways, we'll see how it goes today. But, you know, there's lots of stuff that just keeps playing out. So don't get stressed out. And, well, if you get stressed out, there's a lesson there for you. And so be open to not just going into something, but seeing the other side of it. So start trying to see more of the picture, the bigger picture, you know, and fear is very focused, you know, and like I've said, you know, zoom out. Don't zoom in and get more scared. Zoom out and see more to the picture and, you know, keep remembering what's going on here. This is a evolution for humanity. This is mankind breaking free from control. And there's people who don't have the awareness of that now because they're so under the mind control. But it's going to happen. It's going to shove people. It's like the boat will flip and there will be people in the water. struggling, and it's like, but that is what they're there to struggle, you know. Everybody's struggle is their own personal journey to self, and everybody just has to realize, like, whatever you're struggling is matters. It's real, and it's there to help you to grow and to become your best self. So just work on you. That's what I say. And remember to love yourself, to love everyone, and have a loving day. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.